do it like that. When you go to the Prophet, you are so sweet, you are talking, so sweetly, you are time and again calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to witness, and now what are you doing? When you are not in His presence, your attitude is absolutely opposite. How come? But you must have some fear of Allah. You must bend your ways. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهَ أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. His false sense of respect and honor, it makes him stick to his sin. How can he admit that I did something wrong? I can't admit. My honor, my self-respect doesn't allow me. I cannot go and accept the guilt that I have done this. فَحَسْبُهُ جَهَنَّمْ. So, for him, Jahannam is sufficient. وَلَبِئْسَ الْمِهَادُ. And that is a very bad place, resting place. On the contrary, I told you in the Quran, it's a general practice, simultaneous contrast. When we have discussed one character of munafiqeen, now the character of the mu'mineen, the salihin, the sadiqeen, the true mu'min. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. And from the same people, there are those also who sell themselves, sell their lives, sell their money. What does it mean? They give their life, they give their money. ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. What for? To get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are ready to sacrifice everything. وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very gracious with His bondmen, with His servants. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. O you who profess to believe, enter Islam. And what is Islam? Submission to Allah. But enter in this totally, not partially. Kaffatan. As a whole, your whole personality, your whole life should be in the form of submission before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only a part of it. Praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bowing before Him in ruku and sujood. But when you go out from the mosque, you are contravening the laws of Sharia. Now you just forget that riba is haram, interest is haram. Get anything and mortgage. Just sign a pact, sign a form, and that is, you get the best car. You get a very good bungalow. And there you just forget that what is halal and what is haram. So this is not entering Islam totally. It's only partial. And yesterday we read that ayah. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضٍ. Do you accept a part of our scripture and law and sharia and reject the other part? فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. There can be no punishment for those who take to this attitude, except that they should be put to extreme humiliation in this world, in this life. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. And on the day of judgment, they should be thrown in the worst of punishments. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ادْخُلُوا فِي السِّلْمِ كَافَّةً. Enter Islam, but totally. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Verily, he is a clear enemy to you. فَإِن ضَلَلْتُمْ. And if you slip, مِن بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْكُمُ الْبَيِّنَاتُ. After all these clear teachings having come to you, فَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Now keep in mind, Allah has all the authority, almighty, and He is the wise. If before coming of this Quran, you were doing something wrong, there could be some excuse. After all these things have been revealed to you, after this Mau'izah has come to you, after this guidance has been revealed to you, now if you slip from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the path of the Sharia, then you will be brought to the book, that Allah is almighty. هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظُلَلٍ مِّنَ الْغَمَامِ. What are they waiting for? There is a weakness with many of the human beings. They go on postponing I shall become good after some days. Let me do this and let me do this, then I will adopt the full Sharia. Before that, I have these things to perform and these duties to perform. So he goes on postponing his Islam. His actual practice of Islam, he goes on postponing. And maybe the death takes him, overtakes him. What will happen? Hal yanzuruna. What for they are waiting? Illa an yatiyahumullahu fi zulalin min al-ghamam. Are they waiting for that day of judgment, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come in the shadows of the clouds? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will descend on earth. We don't know how, but He will. وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. There will be a descent. حَتَّى إِلَّا يَأْتِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظُلَلٍ مِّنَ الْغَمَامِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ, and the angels will also come. وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ, and all the matters will be decided and settled forever. What does it mean? Then it will be the decision, final judgment. There will be no possibility of any apologies. There will be no possibility of going back, returning to the world, of repenting, of mending the ways. Then actually everything will be decided for good. وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورُ, and towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be returned all the matters. Sal bani Israel kam atainahum min ayatin bayyinah. Ask these children of Israel, how many clear signs we gave to them. They saw miracles after miracles, miracle after miracle. وَمَنْ يُبَدِّلْ نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْهُ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. And whosoever changes the blessings of Allah after they have come to him, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very severe in punishment also. In one ayah actually is the reference to the first part of this surah. What had they been doing with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? زُيِّنَ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. This life of this world has been made very attractive and beautiful for the kuffar. They love it. This life and its shine, its grandeur, it attracts them. زُيِّنَ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَيَسْخَرُونَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. And they mock at the Muslims, at the Mu'mins. Look to these people. They think, or he thinks there will be another world, and he will have all the bounty of Allah in that world. He is living in the hope of the other world.